Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you guys are having an awesome Thursday. Today's video, we are going to go over the top 32 options at wide receiver. I'm going to break down all the information that you need so that you can make the best decisions possible, hopefully get a dub as we push towards those fantasy playoffs. Quick shout out to all of my current subscribers. Thank you guys so much for all of the support that you have given me. I could not and would not do this without you guys. You are the best. Also, if you find yourself halfway through the video enjoying it, please consider throwing a like on it. That helps me out a bunch. And if you haven't done it yet, especially if you are back here, make sure you subscribe to the channel because I have so many great videos coming out every week. I'm doing over 10 per. And if you do not subscribe, you just might miss something. And oh, what a shame that would be. Enough selling you the goods. Let's hop into week 10's wide receiver rankings. My top spot this week goes to Tyreek Hill. He gets Cleveland at home. He is on pace to crush the receiving record for yardage in a season. In his last 4 games, he's racked up 50 targets, 580 yards, and he is going to get the record if Tua can stay healthy. He will continue that streak here. To number 2, it is Cooper Kupp against Arizona. He did indeed get over that 100-yard mark, like I said, after that 2-game absence, and has now scored in 6 of 8 games on the season. With the Cardinals surrendering the 5th most passing scores on the year, he will hit pay dirt again. Into number 3, it is Stefon Diggs, who is likely going to be on a revenge tour. It is going to be his first game playing the Vikings since they traded him away. Hell hath no fury like a Diggsy scorned. Pretty sure that's how the saying goes, at least close. There is a big day coming here for him as long as Josh Allen plays. At the top of tier number 2 is Justin Jefferson. He got all of the targets last week as Captain Kirk looked to get him more involved. I think it is more of the same in this one if the Vikings want to keep up with Buffalo. Jefferson is going to see double-digit targets again, and he's posted a top 4 finish in 4 out of 5 games where that has happened. A.J. Brown is next up. He has caught a touchdown pass in 3 straight games, and he continues to offer up an excellent floor with the yardage as well. He is set up for a monster day against the Commanders. They surrender top 7 numbers in passing touchdowns, yards per completion, and points per game allowed to the position. In at number 6 is Davante Adams. I think he may have a tough time against the Colts here. They surrender under 19 points a game, which is second best in the NFL. Now, that being said, the rest of the Raiders offense, we know, is not really working, so he is once again going to be the focal point of it, and I am always buying Davante with volume. At the top of tier number 3 is DeAndre Hopkins. He had a pretty rough time last week, but he was able to score on 1 of his 5 targets, so it is a moot point at the end of the day. I think that the looks come back here because the Cardinals are going to struggle on the ground, and Nuke does not fear Jalen Ramsey. Jaylen Waddle is my next man up. He has dominated opponents in 2 straight games, posting top 6 finishes in each of them. He scored 3 times in that span while compiling 191 yards. He is going to continue to put up numbers in Miami's offense, which right now is looking unstoppable. Mike Evans is my 9th ranked wideout. He continues to see massive usage. He's posted targets of 15, 11, and 11 again last week in his last 3. Seattle so far this year has locked down receivers. They allow under 22 points per game to pass catchers. That is 3rd best in the league. But with the Bucs on bye next week, I think they push Evans to the limit here, give him all the looks that he can handle, and Tampa is certainly not running on anyone, so they do not really have a choice. To round out my top 10, I have Amon-Ra St. Brown. He has had trouble turning his volume into production over the last 2. He's at 19 looks, which is great, but only 124 yards to show for it. The Bears look like a cure-all in the secondary. They rank 25th over the last 3 games, so St. Brown is going to get back on track, and he probably crosses the goal line for the first time since week 2. At the top of tier number 4 is Amari Cooper. He stopped his 2-game skid prior to the Browns bye, and now he gets a Miami secondary that's allowing over 28 points a game to wide receivers. I think David Njoku's potential return would actually help him out, but either way, he is in line to produce for managers once again. My last wide receiver one in week number 10 is CeeDee Lamb. About the only thing that the Packers do right is defend the pass, and Lamb has yet to go over 100 yards in a single game this year. However, he's gone for 68 or more in 6 of his last 7 games, so you love that floor, and you can expect it once again, even in this tough matchup. Deebo Samuel returns. He is my lucky number 13 and was a full participant in practice on Wednesday. That is a great sign for his chances to produce this weekend. He is due for a big game, hasn't had one in a while, and CMC's presence is going to ensure that he has more space to work with than ever before. At 14 is Chris Olave. He has been relatively quiet over his last 2 games, 16 targets, 123 yards in them. However, a matchup with Pittsburgh changes things. Nobody allows more points per game to the position than the Steelers. They surrender nearly 40 per. Olave has top 5 potential in this game. To start tier 5, I have DK Metcalf at 15. He has led the Hawks in targets in both games since getting injured, and he's posted back-to-back finishes in the top 18 with them. The yardage that he has posted has been scary though, so if he does not score, he is likely to disappoint. Tyler Lockett, his teammate, is next. He is the second part of this duo, and he also has back-to-back tutties. But as long as Geno Smith is rolling, Lockett is an excellent wide receiver 2 option. The Bucs allow just 9.1 yards per completion. That is 4th best in the league. So both of these Hawks are going to have to fight for every yard they get. Christian Kirk is up next. He's at 17. He gets an awesome matchup here with Kansas City's 25th ranked secondary. He is probably good for half of the 30 points per they allow, and after last week's top 5 finish, he has an encore that seems certain. At 18 is DJ Moore. I guess he probably had to fall back to earth eventually, and he face planted last week in a big way, failing to get inside the top 50. Now, lucky for him, the Falcons have not been able to slow down anybody through the air. They give up over 37 points per game to pass catchers. That is 2nd most in the league, so Moore will bounce back. Gabe Davis is next at 19. He is looking for his own get-right game in the worst way. He's at just 68 yards and 4 catches over his last 2. Minnesota is a great opportunity to make that happen, so I am betting on his upside in this one. To round out my top 20 is JuJu Smith-Schuster. He now has 3 straight finishes in the top 15, but even more important than that, he racked up 12 targets against the Titans. That is a 50% increase from his previous season high. If he gets anywhere close to that against the Jags, he is going to smash this ranking. At 21 is DeVonta Smith. He gets Washington. He really hasn't had his turn in the offense since back in week 5, so I have a feeling that the upside Smith possesses is far greater than most realize. You know that I love this matchup. I think DeVonta could easily post a top 10 day against Washington. To the top of tier 7, it's Chris Godwin. He has had double-digit looks in 4 straight games, but he has failed to do a lot with them. He is going to continue to get heavily targeted in this offense, and I am riding the Bucs to the grave if I have to. He is not the smash wide receiver 1 that owners were hoping to get in his return from injury, but at least his production has been consistent. Allen Lazard is in at 23. He will have to do some heavy lifting in this game if Green Bay wants a shot. I do not think the Packers are going to be able to run it against Dallas, and Lazard is the only wideout in the entirety of Green Bay's offense right now that Aaron Rodgers does not visibly despise. Brandon Aiyuk is my last wide receiver 2, and prior to San Francisco's bye, he posted 3 straight games with 80 yards or more, so there is a possibility that his chemistry with Jimmy G is powerful enough to overcome Deebo's return. I am concerned with the chance that he plays not 1, 2, or 3, but 4th fiddle in this offense, but his recent production keeps him as a back-end wide receiver 2 option. To round out my top 25, it is Terry McLaurin. He did not struggle in week 3 when he faced Philly. He put up his first of 2 100-yard games on the season. He's had 8 or more targets in 3 straight games, so we know the volume is there. So Scary Terry should once again put up a solid day for owners. To the top of tier number 8, it is Joshua Palmer. He may once again be the number 1 weapon in the passing game for LA, but the matchup here gives me a whole lot of pause. Palmer struggled more than his stat line suggests against the Falcons. The opportunities he gets in this game alone are going to make him relevant, but do not expect another wide receiver 1 finish. Darnell Mooney is in at 27. He has a great chance to post a solid back-to-back performance for the first time all year in this matchup with the Lions. You already know the saying, and suddenly the Bears' offense does not look like a dumpster fire. Tumbling down to 28 is Michael Pittman Jr. For me, he just flat out cannot be trusted at this point, but his talent makes it hard for me to discount him entirely. The Raiders are not a scary matchup, and they give up 2 tutties a game through the air, so Pittman is your guy in this range if you're feeling lucky. At number 29, I have Donovan Peoples-Jones. He was my favorite waiver wire addition of the week, so why not just throw that fresh piece back into your lineup? Peoples-Jones has 70 yards or more in 3 straight, and there is no need to fear Miami's secondary. I think he is a sneaky good play. To the top of tier 9 and rounding out my top 30 is Courtland Sutton. He has 4 targets or less in 2 of 3 games, so you do not love that, but I am not buying that Jerry Jeudy is the 1A in this one. So I think that Russ focuses on getting Sutton more involved. Now, if I felt great about it, Sutton would be a top 20 play in an excellent matchup. But alas, here he is at 30. Next up is Curtis Samuel. He has seen just 8 targets combined in his last 2 games, but he has been able to find other ways to remain involved. He's had 5 rushes for 45 yards in that span. He offers a solid floor, and that is very valuable at this flex range. To 32, and the last wide receiver I am looking at is Diontae Johnson. At this point, he has placed me at my wit's end, but he is going to get plenty of looks. The Saints secondary is beatable. Maybe eventually some of this positive stuff actually means something for him. And that is everything for the video today. Really hope you guys learned something from the content. Let me know what you thought about my rankings. If you enjoyed the video, crush the like button for me. That means a ton. And then subscribing to the channel as well always helps. We are very close to topping 500 subscribers. It has been my goal for a while. You can help me to do that. This is Relentless Press. I am your host, Abraham Opatz, and I will see you next time.